he's taking you to the pizzeria down the corner. It's like, hey, babe, you want a slice? That's what this palette is becoming. Maybe I don't need a tan. I need a taco. Hey, beauties. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I have the latest release from Natasha Denona in my makeup-loving hands. This is the tan palette. And we're going to talk about why I don't think you need this. I know. I'm usually here telling you that I love everything I try because genuinely, I love almost everything I try. So today's a little bit of a different video, something I didn't see coming. So if that sounds like fun to you and you want to hear my honest opinion about this palette, then please stick around and let's get this party started. All right, so we have a brand new Natasha Denona palette ready to swatch, to demo, all the fun things. And we also have new Highland cows behind me. Please welcome them to the Courtney Luxe family. We have a little trio of Highland cows over here and a little Highland cow with rain boots on and a cowboy hat on that I have named Stan. So please welcome Stan and the other three who I have not named yet. If you have any name suggestions, please let me know in the comments down below. I am very open to suggestions and would love your input. But back to business. We're back to I need a tan. If there's anyone in this world that needs a tan, it is your girl here. Because as you can see, I am not tan. So I'm hoping this is going to give me that golden goddess look that I am always looking for artificially. Now, a lot of people were concerned about this palette when it was first announced that it was going to be too warm toned. But when you see it in person, let me do like that. It's more cool tone in the pan than it looks online. But interestingly enough, it looks more warm when you swatch it. So I'm very interested to see how it's going to look. I'm going to quickly show you a swatch of all the shades on my very short makeup loving arms. As you can see, we come from left to right. The first shade swatch is Sandal right here, and I just went down the line. The last shade towards my makeup-loving hand and wrist is the shade Glide. As you can see, I was very overconfident in the length of my arm, and the swatches were much more spaced out in the beginning and then got teeny tiny close together as I realized that my arm is not as long as I thought it was. So I should have known that already, but I guess I forgot. I was just being overconfident and overzealous. So forgive me for that. But as you can see, it's an arrangement of matte shades, shimmery shades, and it looks more warm on the swatch than it does in the pan. And in the pan, it looks more cool tone than it did online. So this palette is very intriguing to me. Let me tell you quickly about this palette. So this palette retails for a whopping $72. And it comes with 15 shades, and it is described as a must-have warm neutral palette with 15 shades in Natasha's iconic creamy and slip matte metallic and sparkling foiled finishes. It says, from soft sandy tones to toasted tans, chocolate browns, and golden neutrals, the tan eyeshadow palette offers universally flattering shades. Featuring Natasha's pro-level pigments and user-friendly formulas, each shade delivers rich payoff, effortless blendability, and long-lasting wear. I'm going to quickly show you a comparison to other palettes that you may have in your makeup-loving collection that were released recently or somewhat recently, or iconic palettes that you may be curious about how they compare. So this was the YSL palette that was released this year as limited edition. It kept selling out. This is the YSL Nude Hours palette. I love this palette. So just want to show you how they compare. So the Nude Hours is a little bit more warm tone. As you can see, when you look at this, it does look warm tone, right? But then, hello. If you compare this to this palette, it really shows that this is a little bit more, I want to say cool, but more neutral in comparison. Then we have the original Ethereal Eyes. Not a complete match, but I just wanted to show you some of the more taupe-leaning shades or the browns are a little bit similar. Excuse my ring light there. Now, Hung Van Gogh. One of these palettes, I'm realizing I never even got to use yet, so I have to use this. But this is the new Neutrals palette from Hung Van Gogh compared to Natasha. Maybe it's better to hold it that way. Then we have the Wonderful Warm from Hung Van Gogh. This is the one I didn't get to use yet. So not really similar, terribly similar. The neutral palette is much more similar. And I'm sorry if you're getting the reflection of my setup. Now, this is the Rare Beauty palette that was released recently. It was exclusive to Ulta. I believe now this is in Sephora. I love this palette. I never even featured this on my channel, but I do recommend it. But that's the difference there. This is another palette I bought, but never seem to have used. This is the Idole Cafe Crush from Lancome. So obviously a lot more variety in colors here, but I wanted to just show you how the browns compared in case you have this palette. The Patrick Ta 6-pan. This is the light one, and this is the medium one. So maybe a little more similar to the light. Then we have the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude. So I figured this might be helpful for you to see side by side. And then finally, we have these little mini palettes that Natasha released. Was it earlier this year? Yeah. So this is the Luxe Glam Compact in the cool tone. So as you can see, this is kind of similar. Then we have the nude one, similar also. Interesting. Very interesting, actually. And then we have the rosy one. So that's the rosy one. So the least similar, but just wanted to give you that little comparison to see if you have any of these palettes, how they compare. I'm not going to do swatches because I'd rather just get into the palette. Now, a lot of people are asking if you need this palette. And I was watching, I think it was Babs Beauty who made a great point, and she said, no one really needs any more eyeshadows, right? No one needs any more of these color stories. But if you like the formula, you like the different looks you can create with it, then it's good for you. So I think it's beautiful on the swatches. It really swatch beautiful. In the pan, it looks gorgeous. But I think we should just get into it and apply it to our makeup loving face collectively. So I'm going to prime my eyelids with the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer. Now on my makeup loving face, I have a few products that I'm trying that I thought I would chat with you about. So I have the new YSL Cushion Foundation. I'm wearing it for the first time. I think it looks good. So stay tuned. I'll give you more details in another review on my channel, but I'm testing that out now, as well as the new NARS Insatiable Blush, I think it's called. I have it in Orgasm, and I also have on a CL highlighter on top. That's what you're seeing. That's not new, but testing those products. I also have the Marc Jacobs bronzer on in the shade Fair. Thank you all for your response on my Marc Jacobs video. I loved hearing all of your opinions. A lot of you said that you liked the jokes that I did in there, so I really appreciate that. I like to keep this space very fun and happy and bring a little joy to your life, so I hope that I'm able to do that. So when you tell me things like that, it really makes me feel good about the community that we're building here on my channel together. Okay, so let's go in first with the shade Daydream. I want to do that. It'd be nice if I actually pointed to the right shade. This one right here. I want to do that in the outer corner. Taking a reference number 14 brush. So this is a very creamy shadow. And I prime my eyelids. Just popping that into the outer corner. And pulling it into the crease a little bit. It's nice. Okay. And then now I'm going to take the shade, let's see, Soft Spot right here. And put a little bit in the middle. Let me know in the comments down below, why do you think Natasha Denona has been coming out with so many monochromatic eyeshadow palettes lately? Do you think she will change soon, or do you think she's going to keep up with the trend? All right, so now I'm going into this beautiful shade here. This is the shade Villa, and it's very, very creamy. Oh, it's pretty. Very creamy. Oh, that's pretty. Now I just want to buff everything out a little bit and smooth it out. Okay, so you can have a little bit more of an impact like when I first applied it, or you can buff it out. I want to have a little more impact. And I want to pop it under my eyebrow. Okay, that's nice for highlight. Okay, so this is the first look up close. It's pretty. Okay, I'm going to keep applying the shadows, but I'm gathering my opinions. So stay tuned till the end, because I think I'm changing my opinion, what I said earlier in this video, to what I might be saying at the end of it. I want to use this beautiful creamy shade Sandal right here and put that in the outer corner. So I like the way that this shade Sandal is blending out better than the Daydream one. Daydream was a little bit patchy. I had to kind of smooth it out. I mean, it did smooth out. It wasn't that much work, but this one's a little bit easier to put on. So now we're going to go into the shade Burnt right here. I'm just going to go in with my hand because that's going to be the best way to use it. That's pretty. I like that combination. Okay, so this shade Burnt, definitely more of a warm tone. So let's see. Do I want to add anything else to this look? Maybe I'm going to take Brook right here. This is a reference shadow number 3. And I'm just going to apply that into the outer corner and the crease. Okay, I think that's giving it the pop-up dimension. Even though this is a shimmer shade, it's giving that dimension that the shade, or the look needs, I should say. Okay, so just adding one more coat of this shade Burnt. There. Okay, that's pretty. I'm going to take this shade Kissed and pop it into the inner corner. See if that's a good highlight. It's a little, I don't think it's the right one. Let's try this shade Serene. That's nice. Put on the other side too. All right, so now I'm going to take the shade Glide on the bottom here and do that under the eye. Oh, that's nice for eyeliner. Okay. So very creamy, very smooth. I like that one. All right. On the other side, I'm going to take the shade Dip, this really dark shade, and just put it under the eye. And I got it in my eye. It's great. That's a good look. Okay, so this is Dip as an eyeliner, and this is the shade Glide as the eyeliner. Okay, what do we think? I'm going to do one more look, but what do we think of this? I'll get up close and personal so you can see. This palette is starting to feel like the ex-boyfriend that just keeps coming back around, wanting to get back together with you, assures you that he's going to be different and more exciting and more attentive and all that. And then you let him back into your life, and then you realize about 5 or 10 minutes later that he's the same that he's always been. It's starting to feel like just a repeat of so many color stories that we've seen this year alone. And it just has no variety to it. And in my boyfriend analogy, if we're going to continue with that, and we are going to, because I think it's a decent analogy, and it's the one I thought of, this is the boyfriend that keeps assuring you that he's going to take you out to nicer dinners and, fancy places and do fun things and not just do the same old thing and get into a rut again. And then after like the first day or two, he's taking you to the pizzeria down the corner. It's like, hey, babe, you want a slice? That's what this palette is becoming in my mind because you're not getting a lot of variety. It's the pizzeria every night. I'm not seeing why we're having so many shades that are similar to another in one palette. Let me just show you what I mean. All right, so let's compare a couple of shades here. This is the shade Lazy, which is our boyfriend, right? Our collective boyfriend who's taking us to the pizzeria every night, all right? This is the shade Lazy. And then this shade is Paddle right here. Okay, they're slightly different, but I don't know why you have to have two of these in the same palette. Let's do another comparison. We have the shade Serene and Celeste. These two right here, right? So this is Celeste and this is Serene. Again, one's a little bit darker, one's a little bit lighter, but in my mind, they're so similar in one palette. This is Sandal, Glide, and Soft Spot. They're pretty, they're beautiful, but they're all in the same palette for $72. And if you have any of the palettes that I've shown you, the new YSL one, the Rare Beauty one, Hung Van Gogh, Natasha Denona's mini palettes that she released earlier this year, you have these shades in your collection. So I'm going to do one final look, but I'm kind of, I'll say I'm annoyed. I don't normally say things like this, but for $72, where is the variety? I could see if this was a color story we hadn't seen on the market recently, but this has been done many times over. And I feel like with Natasha, she used to do such creative and innovative color stories. There's nothing wrong with a neutral palette, a warm leaning neutral palette. That's great, but put a little variety in it maybe. Because how many looks are you creating with this? All right, I'm going to take these looks off, and then we're going to do one final look, and then I'm going to give you my final thoughts, and then we're going to talk about what's coming up on my channel, what other reviews we have coming, because we have a lot in store. So let me take these looks off, and I'll be right back. So we are here for our final look, and I want to just explain myself for 2 seconds, because Stan was telling me when I was taking off my eyeshadow that maybe I came off a little bit, not angry, but upset. I'm going to tell you why I'm upset. First of all, maybe I'm a little bit hangry. Maybe I don't need a tan. I need a taco. So I will try to resolve that when I get off camera. But besides needing that taco, I expect so much from Natasha because I know how talented she is and how many wonderful palettes she's done in the past with different colors and exciting color stories and her formulas that I just get frustrated when I see something like this. If this was the first time she was releasing something like this, I wouldn't feel this way. But we had these palettes late last year, which they're good, but the lighter one I was not thrilled with. It was a little bit boring in my opinion. And then, you have, it's not identical, but it's similar, right? And we've seen this so many times. Like if Natasha Denona had come out with this a year or two from now, I wouldn't feel this way. I feel this way because I feel like she's just churning out a lot of the same things when I know she has so much more in her. She's so talented. She's such a master of her craft that this is, I think, not living up to what I expect from her personally. But that's my personal opinion. But that's why you're here to hear, hopefully, my personal opinion and how I refer to inanimate objects that resemble Highland cows by names. All right, so let's do our final look. And let's see. So even now I'm looking at this and I'm not sure how to make a look that's different than the last two. I know I'm going to use the spritz shade in the middle, but as far as the crease and everything, it's looking kind of similar. Let's take the shade Glide right here. And I'm going to put that in the outer. Now that's very creamy. Like, I'm not upset about the formulas. I think we just need a break from these color stories from Natasha and then, come back in a year or so with, something neutral. But give us a taco. That would be fun, like a taco themed palette. Guacamole shade, a pico de gallo shade, tortilla shade. Okay. I'm going to take a spritz with my makeup loading finger here. Now it's interesting. This shadow is resembling the YSL, but not as soft, but the YSL shimmer type shade. It's not like a wet look to it. It's kind of loosely packed. That's not creating the look that I wanted at all, but that's okay. I wanted to do more of a halo effect, but it's not going to work with this type of shade. It probably would work with Villa or Celeste or Burnt. Okay, and I am getting a good amount of fallout from that. Okay, I'm going to take this shade Villa right here. I'm going to try to add a little bit on the inner corner there, just to add a little bit of brightness. I think I mentioned earlier, I was watching Bab's beauty review of this, and she made a very good point. That there are really no phenomenally bright shimmer shades for the inner corner. The shimmers are a little bit on the darker side, so you don't really have anything if you want that bright inner corner eye effect. I mean, Villa's probably the closest thing to it, but I thought that was a very good point. Okay, just taking that deepest shade dip and just doing a little bit of dimension there. So this is not the look that I was going for, but that's okay. I talked to San. I told him that I'm allowed to have a little bit of righteous anger here. So he's going to accept it. I'm going to throw on some mascara and a little bit of eyeliner to complete the look. And then I'm going to give you my final thoughts in my righteous anger, but with a smile, because this is makeup. It's not life or death, but I'm a little bit not too thrilled right now, but I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to get up close and personal one more time, and then I'm going to give you my righteous anger with a smile. Okay, so this is the final look I created. Okay, like I said, in going with my boyfriend analogy, not that I have one, but I have the analogy. I make jokes like this, but please don't. I'm very happy being single. I'm fine. It's just a joke. Because sometimes I will get comments of people being concerned if I'm happy or not being I am very happy. It's just my humor. This palette, and going back to my boyfriend analogy, is kind of like the boyfriend where, you go on an exciting vacation together and you want to go, I don't know, to a tropical island. You lay out on the beach, you relax, you take in the sun, have a grand old time. And 6 months later, the next vacation comes up. Hun, where do you want to go? Let's go back to our tropical vacation. Okay, let's go. We lay out on the beach again, come back. 3 months later, take a little extra trip, a little long weekend to the Bahamas. What do? You go on the beach, lay out, you get a tan, read a book, eat a meal, and come home. So it's nothing wrong with the actual vacation, the first, the second, maybe even the third time. By the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh time, you're ready for something different. Even if the vacation is wonderful and glorious, and it's one of the best memories you have in your life, you want to go to Italy. You want to see the Colosseum. You want to go to Kansas. I don't know what's in Kansas that's worth seeing. If any of you are from Kansas, please let me know what the highlights are from Kansas. I'm sure there are many. But actually, no, did I go to Kansas? No, I went to Kentucky once. Never been to Kansas, but please let me know. I'm sure it's beautiful there. This is not a knock to Kansas. My point is, you want to go to Italy. You want to see the Colosseum. You want to go to Greece. You want to see Greek people. You want to go to Kansas. You want to see Kansas and the beautiful plains of Kansas. And I don't know what food they're famous for in Kansas, but I'm sure it's good. But my point is, you want to do something different. I want something different. I want the Colosseum. I want to see Greek people. I don't want another palette like this for $72. The only thing I will say is that if you are just starting your makeup collection and you don't have anything like this, or you have a relative that's starting their makeup collection and you want to buy them a beautiful, warm, leaning neutral palette, this might be a good option. You may love this. Natasha Denona's formula is excellent. That's still the case. It's been done so many times in such quick succession. I don't need a tan, I need a break. So I am requesting that Natasha bring back her beautiful ingenuity back in her palettes with the different colors, the Bloom palette, the Roxa palette, the retro palette, the golden palette. There are so many beautiful palettes from Natasha that have so much variety in them. You create so many different looks, have so much fun. It's not that this palette is boring. It's just there's so many repeats of the same type of shade in the same palette that I cannot see spending $72 on this. Like I said, unless you're just starting your makeup collection and you love these colors, you're not going to go wrong with the formula. But if you have any of the palettes that I showed you, especially the YSL Nude Hours, the Rare Beauty, the Hung Van Gogh Neutral Palette, any of the ones I showed you, I think you can create similar looks. Maybe the Patrick Ta, because those were all matte shades and they were definitely more warm. It's a little bit different than this, but generally you have probably a lot of these colors in your collection. So I don't recommend this for $72 with the caveat of, if it's the beginning of your makeup collection, I wish you well with that because it's very exciting. Unless you're just starting your makeup collection, if you have makeup, you can create these looks. And even with all that said, you're not getting variety in this palette. You're probably not going to be creating many more different looks, more than maybe 4 or 5 looks at the most. So I'm disappointed. If I didn't review makeup on YouTube, I don't know if I would have bought this. I mean, I probably would have eventually because I love Natasha Denona and I own most of her palettes or, a good number of them. I'm going to keep this because I don't like to return makeup unless there's something wrong with it or, I really, really don't like it. I'll keep this for, shade comparisons and things like that. But I do feel like I was a little bit gypped is the word by spending $72 on this. So that's my honest opinion. I want to know your thoughts. If you picked up this palette and you loved it, I'm so glad. I'm so happy for you. Please let me know in the comments down below. I would love to know your thoughts. If you're thinking about this palette and you have any questions, let me know that too. I always try to keep it very positive and happy on my channel. And this is makeup. It's not life or death. It's supposed to be fun, right? I just don't want you to spend your money on something, a good chunk of money on something in today's economy, quite frankly, where you don't need it. Or, I wouldn't recommend it for that amount of money. I'm always going to be honest with you. I think it's because I love Natasha so much that I expect more. Also, I feel like lately I've been spoiled by really good makeup, like extra good makeup, like the Lisa Eldridge Marilyn Monroe palette, the Marc Jacobs eyeshadows that are a dream to use, and I plan to own all of them. Like I want them to release more shades. I love that formula. Let's see what else. We've had Chanel, Dior. We've had so many good releases lately that I was expecting the next from Natasha to be like knocking my socks off, and I was so excited for it to do so. So please know that I wanted to love this palette. I don't hate it. I'm disappointed. Let's put it that way. So I think it's just because I've been so spoiled. The Mature Beauty eyeliners from Glab Girl Gabby, like so much good makeup has come out lately that I think I'm just a little bit disappointed because I expect so much from Natasha because I love her makeup so much. So I just want you to know it's coming from a good place and a love for Natasha Denona's products and for her as a makeup artist. I think she's just so incredibly talented. And I think that there's more in her than she's letting out right now. So just wanted to make that little note. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. We have a lot more coming up on the channel. I have Violet FR blushes. I have all the shades from the new blushes, and they're beautiful. They're gorgeous. I have the Dior blush sticks and some of the powders that I didn't get to review. We also have a new Gucci eyeshadow palette. It's gorgeous. I posted on my community page. If you've seen it already, a few of you were asking me if I'm going to review it. Absolutely. It's on its way to my makeup loving hands as we speak. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for any way that you choose to support my channel. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. We have so much fun on this channel talking about all the latest in makeup and beauty. And I'll always be honest with you and try to help you make the best decision for your makeup loving life. So thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.